Guys, I've only got 20 minutes, but I might come back later and do another. Pat, Lorna, Teresa, Lorna. So right, hi guys. I haven't even told anyone we're live. I'm going to rush through this. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let me just tell people we're live. Let me go onto the Facebook. Remember, we have a Defending Elvis Presley Facebook with a 24-hour messenger where we can contact each other, where we can share our research, pictures and videos about Elvis. And please join it. Please join our Facebook messenger. The Facebook page is called Defending Elvis Presley. Let me just make sure you're on here, guys. Right. Now, I have to rush, but I still wanted to do a short, just a quick live. I hope you're all well. The message, I'm sorry, guys, but I have to concentrate on this video. I've been really trying behind the scenes to get the messenger to work. I'm not having any luck with it. Right, I want to quickly carry on. Let's have a look. Quickly, let me get it back up. I've sort of got 10 things happening at the same time, but our live we had earlier was excellent. Excellent. One of my favorite lives. Loved it. So I want to carry on that. We were up to 4 minutes and 5 seconds. So let's go to that. Now, in case you've just joined it for the first time, let's have a look. It was supposed to say any. Right. So if let me just think. If you've just joined us, we are doing a review of the Priscilla interview. I don't even know what year it was. Let's have a look. 1985 with Barbara Walters. We think, as Elvis defenders, that it's a pack of lies. It was all twisted. We think Barbara Walters and Priscilla Presley, in our opinion, for entertainment purposes, the whole thing was a bodge job, a hash job. We think it was pre-agreed, questioning, answers. The whole narrative was to make Elvis look bad, to portray him as some kind of predator, to belittle his image and reputation, and just to basically make him out to be some kind of grooming, controlling paedophile that was drugged up. Yeah. The whole thing is trying to make the general public think that Elvis was with a 14-year-old basically till he died. That is how we sensed it. And we've got 4 minutes and 5 seconds in. So, Pat, I am going to try and mess around with that messenger, but I tell you now, I've added you on my friend request, and it's still, yes, you're on my friends now on Facebook, which you'll see, but it's still not working. And there's a few other people that it's not working with. I'm just going to keep trying and trying, but I can't promise anything. The main thing is we can get on these lives and interact. So let's listen.
And signed as a spokeswoman for a shampoo company. Wanting to establish her own identity, she spent the next few years making a name for herself in Hollywood. Then in 1983, she landed the role of Jenna Wade on the enormously popular primetime soap opera, Dallas. She was on that show for 5 years, proving to herself and the world that she could make it on her own. She parlayed that success onto the big screen in Naked Gun. Priscilla surprised everyone with her comedic ability and went on to star in both Naked Gun sequels. Aside from her acting career, Priscilla Presley has proven herself to be a most adept businesswoman. In 1979, she became the co-executor of Elvis's estate and organized Elvis Presley Enterprises. She opened Graceland to the public in 1982 and has closely controlled its finances through the years.
Well, I've got a comment on that. She says she's closely controlled his finances for years. Yeah. Now, remember, she mentions Elvis Presley Enterprises. You guys know I am shocked at the fact there was this big deal done to sell off Elvis Presley Enterprises, which also included leasing Graceland's the business to Elvis Presley Enterprises. I'm pretty sure it was Bob Silliman, the billionaire, that did the deal with Priscilla. Lisa Marie may have been involved. I've heard that Lisa Marie was given about $6 million so that Bob Silliman could use the name Presley. So she sold the name Presley. Yeah. So I am horrified that 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises was sold. It should never have happened. I think there was a lot of backhanders involved. Just an opinion. I think Priscilla made a lot of money from that sale. And to this day, we're still picking up the pieces based on the fact that Elvis Presley Enterprises was once sold off with the lease of Graceland's, a 99-year lease. The rent, I think, was paid in advance for the lease of Graceland's, the business, the tour. I think it was $3 million a long time ago. Now, if I'm getting my facts wrong, please put me right, guys. So it went on to be sold again. I think Joel Weishankar ended up being the buyer. So it's a complicated story. There's a lot of documents online that you can Google. There's a lot of information online that you can Google about how Elvis Presley Enterprises was sold. Yeah, let's keep going, guys.
The estate is now valued at over $100 million. At the time of Elvis's death, it was worth only $5 million. Just as Elvis helped to create Priscilla as a young woman, she in turn has helped to preserve his legacy. And through it all, she had the responsibility of raising Lisa Marie. Priscilla has always maintained that her family is her number one priority. Her son, Navarone, was born in 1987. She's been living with his father, Brazilian writer and filmmaker Marco Garibaldi, since the mid-80s. At the time of our interview in 1985, Priscilla and Lisa Marie, then 18, divided their time between a home in Beverly Hills and this weekend retreat in Santa Barbara. Throughout the years, Priscilla had remained silent about her life with Elvis. But when we met, she was finally ready to tell her story. Her book, Elvis and Me, recounted the intimate details of her life with the king of rock and roll. You were 14 years number one.
I want to go over that again because I want to mention Marco Garibaldi.
Only $5 million. Just as Elvis helped to create Priscilla as a young woman, she in turn has helped to preserve his legacy. And through it all, she had the responsibility of raising Lisa Marie. Priscilla has always maintained that her family is her number one priority. Her son, Navarone, was born in 1987. She's been living with his
let me quickly pause this. So remember, she talked about Priscilla Presley making sure that her family was her number one priority. Now remember, we know, defending Elvis, the fans, Team Elvis, that there was a point, I think when Lisa Marie was around 11 or 12, is that, you tell me the age, guys, that she put poor Lisa Marie into Scientology. Yeah, we have serious views on this. You tell me what age Lisa Marie went into Scientology. So some of us feel, as Elvis fans, that she actually wanted her freedom so she could pursue her career. Now, we know about all the different acting roles. We do feel that Priscilla had her ambitions set on becoming a famous movie actress, TV actress, making money from advertising campaigns, promoting fragrances, shampoos, and other things, baby clothing, opening a boutique, Biss and Beau. So do you guys think Priscilla put her family first? You tell me in the comments. The other thing is, she talks about Marco Garibaldi, you know, the man that she married, Navarone's father, that she was with for over 20 years. I think it's possible that his last name is actually Garcia. So my point with mentioning him is she keeps saying that Elvis is the love of her life. She keeps saying it over and over again. She says it in almost every interview she has now. It's almost something that she feels that she has to say. We know it's not true. We know that Elvis was not the love of her life. She had countless long-term relationships, Michael Edwards being one for 7 years. And even Michael Edwards, we're very concerned about Michael Edwards and his feelings he had towards Lisa Marie. It may have been what's the word? Illegal. Yeah. So let me just carry on with this interview. Let's see what comes out. Now, we haven't listened to Priscilla speaking yet. This is just the introduction. And my feelings on the introduction of Barbara Walters' interview in 1985 is that it's very much been twisted to make Elvis look bad and make Priscilla look good, make Priscilla look like the victim. This is what we feel.
Writer and filmmaker Marco Garibaldi since the mid-80s. At the time of our interview in 1985, Priscilla and Lisa Marie, then 18, divided their time between a home in Beverly Hills and this weekend retreat in Santa Barbara. Throughout the years, Priscilla had remained silent about her life with Elvis. But when we met, she was finally ready to tell her story. Her book, Elvis and Me, recounted the intimate details of her life with the king of rock and roll. You were 14 years old.
Right, hang on. So, the big decision made for the book, Elvis and Me, which we know was a massive seller, over 3 million copies sold almost straight away. Of course, the whole world were interested in Elvis, not just Elvis fans, Priscilla fans, the whole world, the general public. So this book had the potential to do a lot of good or a lot of bad to Elvis's image and reputation, even harm or improve the legacy. Yeah? We already know that she's been running Gracelands for a few years. She takes all the credit for saving Gracelands, launching Gracelands, for the idea of Gracelands becoming a living museum. As fans, we dispute that. We've got proof that shows that the Memphis City were already planning opening Gracelands, or at least in front of Gracelands, as a living museum. There had already been some tours around Graceland way back, just after Elvis had passed, and maybe even just before he had passed. So we dispute Priscilla's boasting that she saved Graceland and that she launched it. We dispute it. We feel there's evidence, in our opinion, for entertainment purposes, that it was not saved by Priscilla. This was already at hand, involving Memphis City and bankers. Yeah, and we also feel that the idea to open it as a living museum was well underway. The plans had already been drawn up. As far as we can see, Priscilla caught hold of the idea and took it and ran with it, and then spent the next 40 years saying it was her idea and that she had saved Graceland, even giving Lisa Marie the impression that she had saved Gracelands as a living museum, and this is the reason Elvis wasn't forgotten. Even in an interview, she says to Lisa Marie, and I've got the interview, that the reason Gracelands was saved and the reason Elvis wasn't forgotten, this is Tino, is because of Priscilla Presley. Taking credit. She actually says that the reason we, the fans, have not forgotten about Elvis is because she launched Graceland as a living museum. Tino is climbing on me like a little monkey. So we got strong views about that, haven't we, guys? We got very strong views. Right, keep going.
The intimate details of her life with the king of rock and roll.
You want to sit on that?
You were 14 years old. Elvis was 24. Right? How did your parents allow a 14-year-old teenager baby to be with this then superstar? It wasn't that easy on my parents. First of all,
now, what she should have done, when Barbara Walters said, how do your parents allow a 14-year-old to be with a 24-year-old man? She should have said, I wasn't with a 24-year-old man. We were only friends for 6 weeks. Then Elvis went back to his life in America, did GI Blues, the Frank Sinatra special, made 3 albums, I think, with RCA Victor. They didn't see each other for over 2 years. This is what should have been said. But Barbara Walters is trying to give us the impression that Elvis has a sexual affair with a 14-year-old girl, which did not happen. Did not happen. Anything in here that has any mention of it, I completely dispute. Now remember, Priscilla has always said they never had sex. Elvis made it clear it was just a friendship, a short, brief friendship. But Elvis has been hounded and called a paedophile for over 40 years just because he had a brief friendship with Priscilla for only 6 weeks. Priscilla never moved to America till she was nearly 18. They never got married till she was nearly 22. They never had sex until she was nearly 22. So Barbara Walters is guilty of portraying Elvis Presley in a very sick light. I personally feel that Barbara Walters should be ashamed of how she has portrayed Elvis Presley. And this has stuck with the general public for over, I would say, since that interview was aired. So you work out the years, guys. Isn't that nearly 40 years of Elvis fans and non-Elvis fans and Priscilla fans, because of that interview, thinking that Elvis was some kind of paedophile? Let's keep watching, guys.
Just an innocent meeting. And of course, I was excited. And I was reluctant because I didn't think I'd ever let it go. But it was
Right, stop, you need to calm down. Now, just wait a minute. Just sit in, give me a cuddle.
I never expected.
Sorry, guys. Kids trying to climb on me.
I never expected him to ask me back.
But Elvis did ask you back, and you saw him again and again. And you would get home very late at night and be exhausted the next day when you had to go to school. And your parents let you go again and again.
When you're in love, it's hard to fight. And I was rebellious somewhat, meaning I didn't want to go to school, or I said I wouldn't go to school. Please let me, he'd be out of my life after 6 months, and don't ruin my life, because I really cared. And he came to the house, and he was charming. He was wonderful, and my family had a lot of faith in him.
What was Elvis Presley like?
5 minutes, we've got to go, guys.
He was insecure. He was, you could talk to him as a person.
Ding, 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 ding.
You knew his fears. He had.
Right, calm. No.
He was so vulnerable.
Say hello to him.
He was gentle. He was fun. He was.
Monkey.
He was a person you could really deal with.
You write in your book.
Let me just pause that.
14. Elvis.
Now listen, what she just says. You're like this when she goes, you write in your book, you were 14. Yeah? This is Barbara Walters twisting the truth. Now, Priscilla is making Elvis, he was so charming. He won my parents over, Now, I think she's doing it in a way to make us feel that the parents were tricked, charmed, into allowing Elvis to see a 14-year-old girl. She not once does she say, oh, by the way, I was nearly 18. Not once does she say, I begged Elvis to allow me to move to Graceland. Not once does she mention that she wrote to Elvis again and again, wanting to move to Graceland. Not once does she say that she was continuously phoning him, asking him to invite her over, asking him to speak to her parents. Not once does she say she was nearly 18. She keeps the impression that he is 14, that she was 14. Remember, Elvis hadn't seen her for over 2 years. And this isn't even mentioned. Now let's listen to what Barbara says now. Listen to this.
Gentle. He was fun. He was a person you could really deal with.
You write in your book. You're 14. Elvis would take me into his bedroom, and then we would kiss long, deep, passionate kisses, and his caresses would leave me weak with desire.
Yeah? That's true.
Right, let me just pause it.
He never tried to go further than kissing.
Right.
Kisses would leave me weak.
Now, it doesn't make sense. She's saying, Priscilla wrote in her book, that they would kiss and caress. Yeah? It's in this book. She has written it in this book. Now, we don't know if that happened. Remember, this book was written 7 years after Elvis died by his divorcee, who gave him a very cruel divorce, robbed him of a lot of his money, in my opinion, was very unfaithful, had moved on with many other lovers, had paraded herself around with Mike Stone and humiliated and embarrassed Elvis. A woman, in my opinion, that may have been out for revenge. So this woman, Priscilla, has written in this book that they would kiss and caress and do everything but have sexual intercourse. And we don't know if it happened. Elvis can't jump up and say, well, that never happened. Now, everything I've learned about Elvis, good Christian man with a good heart, a good upbringing, who liked to befriend his partners first before he slept with them, who preferred to read with his partners, to get to know them deeply before he would go that next step of sex. She's saying after she only knew him for 6 weeks in Germany, and she is saying they would almost have sexual intercourse. Yeah, to me, it could be a complete pack of lies. Do you think it could be a pack of lies? Now, why is it that something she writes is allowed to be the truth, even though there are no witnesses, there are no proof? Elvis had no say in this book, but because she wrote it, it's classed and treated as truth. Now, how can that be fair? That someone can just make up a story and they can literally say whatever they want. Priscilla can say whatever she wants, anything. She could say Elvis had a pink leg and it's classed as truth. Couldn't she? She could literally say anything. And the whole world have treated it as truth. The interviewers around the world, on the news channels, on the documentaries, biographies, movies, TV dramas, have all acted as if every word in this book is true. How is that right? How is that fair? I ask you, Priscilla fans, yeah? If I wrote a book about your life, but I'm allowed to say whatever I want, is that fair? I repeat, to non-Elvis fans, I ask you, if I could write a book about your life and say whatever I want with no proof, no research, no documentation, is that okay? Is that fair? Oh, and by the way, you're not allowed to defend yourself. I've written a book about your life and you're not allowed to defend yourself. And then I'm going to sell that book around the world and make millions and millions of dollars. Now, how is that fair? Right. We've only got a minute left. So I'm going to just show you one more clip and we're going to come back and do a part 3. So this
5,100 likes.
Yes, good boy.
We are going to 100 hours left.
It's definitely not fair, is it, Lorna? Yeah? Don't worry, I'm not going to write a book about your life, guys. But you imagine if I did. You imagine, and I can say what I want. One more little bit. Tino's had his little say. Tino is 4, by the way. And then I'm going to come back for a part 3.
With desire. Yeah, it's true.
Yet he never tried to go further than kissing her.
No, he didn't. There was an agreement, I guess, he made with himself that the woman that he decided to take for his wife, he was going to keep her that way until he married her.
Keep her a virgin no matter what.
Right.
Keep
What
her,
do you think? Attractive at 24.
Barbara Walters, keep her a virgin no matter what. She hasn't said she's a virgin yet, but we know that Priscilla has portrayed herself as a sweet, innocent virgin, and that when she met Elvis, she was very innocent and a virgin. Now, this book here, Child Bride, says a completely different story. A completely different story. It says that she wasn't a virgin. She'd had many boyfriends, and then it was all planned. Now, at least with this book, there is some proof of proper research, proper witnesses, even a form of lie detection. Priscilla even had some involvement in partly of the making of this book, Suzanne Finstad's book, Child Bride. Now, I will dispute some of the things that are in this book, so I'm not happy with all the things that Suzanne Finstad has said. But this book, Child Bride, does give us an alternative look, an alternative reality to this book, which I definitely think, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, is a pack of lies. Okay, guys? So I'm going to come back for part 3. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being involved in this very interesting live stream. I'm really enjoying this one because we are going to use that Barbara Walters interview in 1985 to expose the lies, to get to the truth, to show Priscilla, and I really hope Priscilla watches this, that we do not accept that history has been rewritten, that the truth has been rewritten and twisted to suit her own narrative, to rewrite history. We want the truth. Priscilla, I don't hate you. I want an apology for your wrongdoing. The fact that you wrote a book that is full of twisted truths. You rewrote history. You said you were setting things to right. You were going to make things right because of all the wrongly written books leading up to this book. Instead, you used it, in my opinion, as an opportunity to win public opinion, to feel that you are a victim and Elvis was a predator. And because of it, this has harmed Elvis's reputation and image and legacy for 35 to 40 years. And that is wrong. And the fans want an apology. The fans want you to admit your wrongdoing. The fact that many things in this were wrong, many things that you did in that interview were wrong. You should have defended Elvis in that interview. You had many opportunities with Barbara Walters to jump in and say, you've got your facts wrong on many questions that she asked you. We're only 10 minutes into that interview. We've got another 40 minutes left, and we are going to break down everything in that interview again and again and again and again. We are going to expose what we feel the lies in that interview from our opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes. I'm just a fan at home who's trying to defend Elvis Presley with Team Elvis. That's where we are. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I need to go. Thanks very much. All the best. I have to rush off because my wife's waiting for me. So I've loved talking with you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me and hearing me out. I know I waffle on a bit. Tina, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. See you later, guys. All the best.
Bye.
Take care. Love you all.
Hate you.